Is this thing on? Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Maxine and you are here on my channel, Tangerines Over the Rainbow. I shared previously that I got pretty sick over the last week, so I've had some time to recover and recuperate. Naturally, I had a lot of time to think to myself in my brain while I was dying in bed last week, so this is sort of a video of what I've come up with in that time. I am still in the very experiential phase of content creation. Experimental. I'm still in the very experimental phase of content creation, so we're going to be trying new things and seeing how they go and always leaving room to pivot for things when they don't feel right or maybe just didn't turn out how we thought. So in this video, I want to take the time to share my thoughts with you and sort of give you an idea of what's going on in my brain. To be clear, I'm not going anywhere. A couple things I want to touch on this video are my posting schedule, the sort of media that I guess I will be posting, or like the types of media that I will be posting, and the subject matter or niche, I guess, that I will be posting in, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's get started. Something that's been on my mind as a new YouTuber or social media person is the idea of niching. And I posted a poll to my Instagram last week saying that I was kind of thinking about maybe niching down or creating second accounts for my knit and crochet content, because I feel like a lot of people on my Instagram have come from the reels that I posted that were more on the comedy side of things and maybe don't really care about what I knit or crochet. And the early results were saying that maybe I shouldn't do that, but then by the end of the poll it was quite literally 50-50. So unfortunately, it didn't tell me much. However, what I will say is that the people who voted no and encouraged me to keep doing what I'm doing were the people who were a little bit more vocal in my DMs about what they thought I should do. So I am going to take that as a little bit of an indication that maybe I don't need to be creating separate accounts or doing too much or what have you. Especially at this point where I really don't have a large audience and y'all are kind of here along with me for the ride. I would appreciate as much feedback as you feel like you would like to give me during this time, but for the most part, if I'm not getting negative feedback, I guess I'm just gonna assume that we're all okay. I think it mostly comes through the lens of exposure and kind of like playing in the algorithms. I wanna get to a point where I don't feel like that is my priority, and when I started this journey, I told myself that I just wanted to be authentic, and I still stand by that. But I've also been on social media since its conception, and I have never really been active on social media with algorithm content. Like, I've always just used Instagram to share photos that I enjoy, and that's it. Like, I never made reels. I only had a TikTok for about 2 months and I just deleted it. So in terms of actually posting content on algorithm run platforms, I'm very new to it and I'm still trying to figure it out. So to me, what I see is successful accounts, or accounts that get pushed the most, are accounts that the algorithm clearly says like, oh hey, this is a knit and crochet channel, I'm gonna show it to people who like knit and crochet. And I don't know how the algorithm goes about compiling this data. Whereas me, I'm kind of like somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm trying to toe that line of sharing my art while also being funny, because I think that the chaos that happens in my brain on a daily basis feeds into my art, which is my knit and crochet content, but then also feeds into my comedy content. So I'm trying to put more, I guess, maybe what I need to figure out at the end of the day is, how do I marry the chaos in my brain with both of those things? And how do I make those things exist together? Like, how do I make knit and crochet content, but give it that same sort of like flair as my more shitposty content gets from me? So I think that's what I'm taking away from this. I don't really know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna try and figure it out. Maybe it just comes down to like being just a little bit more unhinged while I make crochet content, because I do feel very, like, when the camera starts and I'm crafting something, I do like kind of feel very prim and proper when I do it. Like, I feel like my I feel like my high school giving a PowerPoint presentation inner self kind of takes over when I make crochet content, and I don't really love that. Funnily enough, I originally started this YouTube channel in general just to be a yarn channel, and I realized pretty quickly that I don't necessarily want to just be a yarn channel, but then I also do want to be a yarn channel. And that, I think, toss-up is indicative of my level of just overall decisiveness in this moment, that it's kind of like, girl, you just gotta pick a lane and stick with it. You know, if you want to be funny, and be funny in crochet content, or be funny over here. I don't know how long this little rant is going to be when I actually cut it down, but the TLDR from this entire takeaway is that I'm going to try and work a little bit harder to bring my own personal flair into my knit and crochet content, so that even if you don't knit or crochet and have come here from a more comedy shitposty piece of content that I posted, you will still be able to find some joy in my crafting content. That is my hope. We'll see how it goes. I have said from the conception of this channel that my priority is producing long-form content, mostly because I am just kind of tired of how much short-form content is being pushed to us over literally every social media app that's out there right now. That being said, unfortunately, I don't think that short-form content is something that I can fully get away from. There is advice out there that says, you know, if you want to make long-form content, then just make long-form content and people will come, which I absolutely do believe. However, long-form content is very exhausting to me, mentally and physically, which I wasn't really expecting. I have been posting videos on here once a week since my Vlogsmas series ended in December. And while I do enjoy that posting schedule, I do find that the amount of energy that I need to put into creating long-form content for such a quick turnaround really doesn't leave me a lot of time to think about the content that I would also like to post on my Instagram to grow my following on both platforms. I have kind of thought about maybe just not doing Instagram and just focusing everything onto YouTube. However, I really do want to grow on both platforms. Instagram has been my main platform for social media for a very long time, and it's probably just the one that I feel most connected to the people in my life on. So I would like to continue to grow on Instagram, so unfortunately that option of just using YouTube is kind of not viable for me and just not what I want. Interestingly enough, I've only really been posting reels on Instagram, and sometimes I forget that you can use Instagram to just post photos. I actually really love taking photos. I've always loved taking photos. I took photography all through high school, and I approach photo taking with a very like composition oriented mind. And I'm not sure why when I started posting publicly on Instagram, my mind was like, okay, you have to make reels all the time. You can only post reels. Because that's just not how the platform works, and that's not the kind of content that I like to consume. Going forward, I'm going to try and lower my reels content on Instagram and increase my photo sharing content on Instagram. With this, I also think I'm going to take a little step back from posting long form content once a week. I'm finding the once a week turnaround to be a little bit too fast for me, so I think I'm going to try posting videos once every other week. And I think that this will give me more time to craft more high quality long form content that actually has some kind of like storyline or interesting quirk to it that isn't just me feeling like I have to get something out. That being said, I'm not necessarily going to be completely married to the once every other week schedule. Like maybe there will be some bonus videos sprinkled in there, who knows. But as of the release of this video on this Friday, I will be reducing my long form schedule to once every other week, in the hopes that I will be able to put out better and more diversified content. I think more diversified content is really the root of what I would like to do from here, mostly because that is the kind of content that I like to consume from creators. So we're gonna see how all of this goes. I just want to take a moment to really reiterate how thankful I am for you who's watching this video, or you who is following me on Instagram, or subscribed here on YouTube, or engaging with whatever content I might throw into the universe. This has been a really fun experience, and I'm so looking forward to continuing to grow and continuing to engage with y'all. I had some really great conversations with many of you in my DMs this week while I was sick, and I really appreciate so many of you taking the time to reach out and have a little chit chat with me. Just know that those interactions really do go a long way for me, and I hope that you will continue to interact, share fun moments with me, and build a relationship with me through these platforms. My goal for this experience is always going to be to share my queer joy and to put more queer joy out into the ethos, because I really do think that that is what the world needs right now, and I'm going to do the best that I can within my own capabilities to continue to do that. If you're new here, hi, it is nice to meet you. If you are someone who has been here for a minute, thank you so much for being here. If this video is your first impression of me, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stick around for what I will be posting in the future. Also, if you are feeling freaky, leave me a comment to introduce yourself, or let me know what brought you here in the first place. Anyway, bye!